Right, what I think we're going to do is we're going to make a bath plug. I'll do it two different ways. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, let's create a new document, create a part, and we'll start a sketch. We'll do it as a revolve both ways. So initially we could, now I'm not going to bother dimensioning this, I'll just create it as we go. Right, so as a revolve, I mean, you would dimension this top one and the bottom one and the thickness, and that'll give you the shape of the conical section. But let's say we've got that now. Do a revolve, and there's your basic shape of your plug. So, okay. Now, let's say we want to do the pockets either side of a handle. So, select that face. We'll do these two pockets. Now, because we've gone around the vertical axis, which is the simplest way to do it, we can utilize either the center point, or we could select external geometry, which would import the center point, but the center point exists. So we'll just get rid of that external geometry. Right. So to create the two pockets, what we do want is we want a couple of arcs and a line. So let's draw an arc. We use the center point so that they're concentric with the outside. So select the center. Let's say we start the arc a little bit above the horizontal there. Select, done. Now we'll do a line from that point to that point there. Just so happens that we drew it close enough to horizontal that it automatically constrained these 2 points as being horizontal. Now what we can change, you'll see that because it's using the center point of the circle, if we drag that up and down, it's always concentric with the outside of the plug. So let's drag this into some distance. What we can do is now draw another one on the other side. So we'll do that again from about here to about here, and draw a line from that point to that point. You'll see this time it didn't automatic. Oh yes, it did. It did automatically constrain it to horizontal. Now what we've got is they're two different dimensions, and moving this changes the radius of this arc. So if we select both of those arcs and constrain them to be equal, they'll always be the same radius. There we go. Doesn't fix the distance of this, but when you change one, the other will change. What we can do is we can also make these two equal, and then, so now the arcs are the same radius, the lines are the same length, so the only thing now is, when you move one, it's the gap for your plug handle. So we could define that by the distance between these two lines. I mean, we can call it 5 mil or whatever. None of the other dimensions are probably consistent with the size of your plug, so sort of immaterial. So now we could pocket that. The problem with this is it's difficult to determine whether or not when you pocket it you're going to come out the side wall, but that's okay. So we'll pocket it down some depth. I don't know how far because I didn't actually dimension the outside, but leave that up to you. We can try it and see how far we can go before it comes out the bottom. There we go, it's 11 mil. So let's go back to about 8 mil. Okay. Now, what you wanted to do potentially is put some bumps on this face so that you've got some grip. So the best way I see to do that is to do a sketch on the plane that's running on the y-axis, so on the YZ plane. So if we now create a sketch, let's choose the YZ plane. Now, because you can't see it, it's hidden by all this stuff in front. You're actually drawing it in the middle here, but this is in the way. So this front of the plug's in the way. If you go up here, this tool, which is the section, view the section that you're drawing on. So it'll cut away everything that's towards you. Right, now you're actually looking on the plane you're drawing on. So we'll just go back here, straight on. You don't have to click the view from up here. You can actually just click this other button next to the section view, which basically puts you back to being square with the view that you're drawing on. So click that, and there you are. Now, if you want to put bumps here and here, we'll have to import the geometry to draw on. So let's import those two. Now, we could put, say, an arc by 3 points. So we'll pick the top, we'll pick some point down there, and then something there. Now, the reality is that that will probably be on that line, something like that. Now, for 3D printing, so that we don't need supports, you actually would like to have that at 45 degrees. Now, it won't make much difference, I think, for this print, but let's fix that. So we'll get rid of this constraint there. Let's move this up to about there somewhere, such that that will be, you can make it 45. We'll draw a line that now joins there. Don't forget we have to actually now draw in this line there to close the sketch. You'll want, just to make it look nice, you'll want those two to be tangent. So it's a nice transition from the arc to the line. But what we also want to do is let's constrain that angle to be 45 degrees. There. So now you've got a bump that can be printed without supports. So you don't have to worry about that. But now you also want to put this on this side. So if we select all of those lines, we can do it on the left hand side here, or we can box select everything like that, or box select everything like that, but don't do it that way because you end up with this line. So if you do it from the top left down, you just get the lines you want to do. And then we can mirror. So we can use the mirror up here. I mean, you could just redraw them all and then just make everything equal, but if you just mirror around this one, there you go. So now you've got a sketch and you can see it here. Now you'll want to extrude that, but it only goes one way, so you can do symmetric to the plane and you go up to first. Or just up to face. Will it go both directions? No. Cancel. Let's see if there's another option. up to shape. Let's try that. No. Up to first. Reversed. Right. I thought if you go 2 dimensions, you can just increase it until it gets there. Doesn't matter if it goes through. Make them both the same dimensions. They're 34. Okay. Done. And now I'll go and do it another way. Right, video number 2 to show you an alternate way to do the plug. So there was plug number 1. If we do a new part, call it plug 2. Right, I'll hide the original and we'll start again. So this time we'll do a revolve again, but this time we won't need to do the pocket. So we'll do this. That's not quite on the, so I need to put that on there. Right, I'm going to make that horizontal. Okay. Right, so we can make these parallel if we wanted to. Make that horizontal already, so anyway, so you can play with what that looks like. We'll close that and we'll revolve it. And there's your plug already. Now, the handle. What we can do is we can put the handle in by, so we go OK to that. Now, we'll use one of the planes, the XZ plane. As before, we'll section the view. We'll take some external geometry, the base, and the side inside wall. And now what we can do is we can actually do the handle as, actually I need to still get the other external geometry over here. Why is it not picking? It's not picking it for some reason. We'll use mark by centre. I'll put it on this line to keep it symmetrical. We'll come over there somewhere. Now we can change the radius, bring it down so that isn't very proud. We can make that point there the same height as that one. Right, we can draw a line now down to there, one from there to there, and one across. Done. Close that. And now we can go symmetrical to the plane, so it builds both sides of what you just drew on, and we'll make it a total of, I don't know, 3 mm wide. Okay. Now we can also do what we did before and put some little ribs on it. So if we draw another sketch, but this time on this plane, section view, let's say you want those ribs a little bit higher. Let's do this one. Oh, we've got to get some external geometry there. We'll draw the rib. So here, actually that's too high. Undo that. Right, what we want to do is somewhere here on that line. Now you can do what I did in the previous video and make that 45, but just to speed this up, whatever size you want to make the radius, give it 1 millimeter, let's say. You can again select all of this and you can provide a mirror around the vertical, have it on the other side, close, there it is in the middle, you can just see it, but we want to pad it, and we'll do it symmetrical to the plane, and I don't know, 25 mil. Okay, so now it's on both sides there, done. So 2 versions. There's one there with the rib all the way along, 45 degree, and then the other version, a slight shape to it. Yeah. Have fun.